I'm Mac Morrison. It's been a while since we've had an installment of special racing guest, but Simona de Silvestro, KV Racing, great to see you. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks for having me.
Why are you in Detroit? Are you going to a little auto show
Yeah,
today?
I am. I am actually going to go to the auto show, with Chevy and the Detroit Grand Prix. Going to look around a little bit, and I'm looking forward to come back in June here for the race.
Yeah, for sure. What are you looking forward to seeing most? Let me guess, Chevrolet Corvette. That's what they told you to say.
No, actually, yeah, it is the car that I want to see, not because they told me, but I've seen pictures of it, so I'm really excited to see it in real. I think it looks awesome, and hopefully they're gonna let me drive one pretty soon. It'd be nice.
Well, everyone knows you're fast. You're a race car driver. You like cars. What's in your garage at home?
In my garage at home, actually, there's a Chevy Volt.
What?
Yes. Yeah. Everybody's surprised about that, but it's like the coolest car to drive, and nobody believes me because it has so much torque.
I've driven it, but that's disappointing.
Awesome. I think it's awesome. And actually, in Switzerland, I have this 1962 Auto Bianchi.
Okay.
Which is pretty old school, and it's like super small. I don't know if you've seen the Pink Panther movie.
Yeah.
So that little car,
Yep.
that's what I drive in Switzerland. Yeah.
This is going into your fourth season in IndyCar. And you've had flashes, and part of the reason you're so popular is I think everyone can see the talent and the potential that you have, and it just hasn't come together completely probably so far.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe last year is rough because of the Lotus situation, so you really were kind of driving a dump truck compared to everybody else for most of the year. But I go back a year before that, I think you finished fourth in the season opener, and everyone was really excited. And then you had that accident at Milwaukee, and that was after the one at Indianapolis.
Indy, yeah.
So the season just kind of, I think, got away from you a little bit. Now you're at KV, which is it's not a Ganassi or a Penske, but it's definitely a competitive program. You've got Tony Kanaan as your teammate. So, I hate to put it this way, but are you at a point where there's no more excuses about anything, and it's just, I have some good equipment and someone to measure myself against, and this is your breakout chance?
Yeah, pretty much. I think I've learned a lot in the last 3 years. Like you said, last year was really frustrating. It was a long season, but there's always something positive that comes out of a year like this. And the year before, you said, had a really good start of the season, then I had a big accident and Indy. So it was maybe it's just something I had to go through, And thank God it kind of maybe happened really early in my career. And now today I'm with KV Racing and with Chevy and everything. So everything is really coming together. And I think that this year I'm really going to have the tools to be running up front. So far we've been testing and it's been going pretty well. But we know that everybody's working hard. So I'm putting the work in. The team is putting the work in to get the results, and hopefully they'll be there.
How big of a gap is there, or can you feel between driving essentially the exact same chassis, but with a Chevy engine versus what you had last year? And I don't mean to keep bagging on Lotus, but do you all of a sudden, when the first time you tested this car with this engine, do you go, wow, I didn't realize what I was really missing last year. It all makes sense.
Yeah, pretty much. I did the first test in Barber in the beginning of November, and I think I did like 3 laps and got to the pits, and I was like, my eyes were wide open because it was such a big difference, and I couldn't believe it. I think during the year last year, you think you're close, but when you get to go to a Chevy engine, it makes a big difference, and it's a lot of fun now. Now when you push the car, the lap time comes out. So I think, there's quite a big of horsepower difference between last year and this year.
Let's go back to Indianapolis 2 years ago, and I'm just curious, was that the most frightening thing that's ever happened to you in a race car or otherwise, or did it happen so fast and because you were basically okay? I know you got burned a little bit, but is it just over and you don't get scared until 5 minutes later?
No, well, Indy was pretty tough for me because it was really the first time I got hurt in a race car. Before that, you crashed and, you didn't really care. But when you get hurt like this, it takes you a while to kind of find your confidence back. And I think that hurt me a little bit during that season. But I think I came back. I think I learned a lot from those mistakes. Even I did that year. That wasn't my fault. But when you're confronted to something like this, where you think before you're pretty much invincible. As a race car driver, we do all kinds of crazy stuff, and when it hurts, it hurts. So you just have to go through it. And I think all the drivers have kind of that one moment that is a little bit crazy for me. It was a bit crazier, but you get over it. I have a chance to drive these cars, and my sponsor with the Nuclear Clean Air Energy campaign, they really stayed behind me and really left it to me to figure out what I wanted to do. And I knew I wanted to get back in the race car, and when I did it, I was still super happy and had a smile on my face, and I knew that's what I was meant to be doing.
What are your expectations for this season, realistically, with KV? Is it consistent podium finishes? Is it top fives? Is it top tens? I mean, what do you shoot for that you'll say that was my target and that was a successful year?
My goal is really that every race weekend I'm running up front, and fighting for these podium positions and, for a win. So I think I'm really going to work towards that goal, and hopefully it's going to come. The field is really competitive, and we know, if you miss it by a little
Absolutely.
bit, you can be, starting 15. So I think if we put everything together, and if our goal is to run up front like every weekend, I think we should have a really good championship.
How do you feel about some of the nothing major but little changes in IndyCar this year? Like we've got the double header races in I think Toronto, Houston, Detroit. The Triple Crown with Pocono, Indy, and Fontana, and then standing starts, which I know there's been mixed reaction in the paddock amongst the drivers, whether, is it too dangerous or is it exciting? How do you feel about that?
Well, I think the standing starts is a cool idea. I think, especially on the road courses, I think we should do that. So far, we've been trying a lot, and it's pretty difficult, So I think that it will really change at the start of the race. It can really change your position pretty quickly. And the double headers, especially here in Detroit, is going to be the first time we're going to be confronted to that. And I think it's exciting. I think it's going to be difficult too, because two full races are going to be, I think, pretty hard on the concentration and all that. But as a racer, you want to be running as many races as you can. So if we get two in the same weekend, I think it's pretty cool. And and the Triple Crown, I think it's exciting too to go back to Pocono. I've never been there, so I think it'll be nice to see.
Awesome. Well, Simona, thanks for coming by. I hope you have fun at the auto show, and good luck this season.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Catch all the latest auto enthusiast news at Autoweek.com, in Autoweek magazine and iPad edition. Talk with us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter at Autoweek USA.